It's Patrick Schmidt. How are you, mate?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Matthew. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, great to have you on the line. Strasbourg to London. It's holding there. Tell me, how is life in Strasbourg under these crazy conditions?
Well, we're sort of coming back to normalcy after the shutdown. It's we're starting to see people, cars, but to be honest, during the shutdown, it was quite interesting because there were no cars, and the ducks from the local park started walking in the streets, which was never had happened. It was wonderful.
So Strasbourg was back to nature for a while, but we have to have consumerism and diesel and petrol. That's called progress, I believe. Got
Right,
it, got
right.
it, got it, got it. Now, you are nominally American, I'm nominally British. You're an interculturalist. I pretend to be an interculturalist myself. What should we talk about today? What's on your mind?
I thought we could talk about the differences between the Americans and the British. I mean, I find people like you intriguing, fascinating. I mean, the British, they're masters of their language, wordplay. They're exuberant. I mean, especially you. I mean, I just am just impressed by how the British are. I mean, in many ways, that I think many Americans wish they could be like the British.
There is this bizarre thing which I never fully understand. I never fully understand the delight when they hear the accent and all that. So let's go back a bit of sociology or history with the US. Those
Yeah.
guys coming over in ships in times gone by. Where were these people coming from? Where were they coming to? Any views on the start of it all?
Okay, until 1781, the United States was a British colony. There were 13 colonies.
I, I,
And then we decided to throw you out. Uh,
I was
you
hoping
want to
you'd
say something
forgotten
there?
that bit, Patrick.
Well, no, our roots are the British. You helped us create the United States of America. And many people in Great Britain thinks the United States is a poor imitation of Great Britain. That's what some people say. But
I must say, I'm always amazed at people loving the British accent and so forth. What was the opportunity? What was the promise of these people fleeing tyranny and famine as they landed in Ellis Island and got registered and came in to America?
it was the unlimited opportunities that the United States offered. When you landed in New York, you were told you are now an American. You can do anything you want. You can even become president of the United States. That is something that's impregnated in the American mindset. You could do anything you want in life. It's just a question of going for it.
So we have instant self promotion up the ladder. What are the examples of where people start?
Well, the recent example is a young Austrian, at the age of 20. He had just won the international Mr. Universe. He was a muscle man, and what he said, he came to Florida with just $20 in his pocket. And then he went on and he hardly spoke any English, which is astonishing. But he then won more championships, and then he got bored with that. He decided to go into Hollywood. He became a fantastic film star. And then he got bored with that, and then he went into politics and became the governor of California, not once, but twice. And that is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Exactly, amazing. I mean, the fifth largest economy in the world is California. We may or may not believe the $20 thing, and he never even got an accent coach. That is a hero. So
Yes,
other
but
people,
he's an American hero. I mean,
he's
he's
an
a
American hero.
success story.
He's a
He
great.
started off with nothing, and he became very wealthy. And I want to point this out. The United States is probably the only country in the world where the lower class and the middle class believe that they are pre-rich. That is, the next job, the next opportunity, they move from being a dishwasher, and then within 20 years, they are a multimillionaire. That is the American dream.
Pre-rich. So you have this idea. Hard work, opportunity, activity, putting your hand up, putting yourself forward will get you somewhere there. What about land and settlers? What's the story there?
Well, in those days, in the 19th century, you had the Wild West. It was hardly inhabited. And the US government told all migrants, you can go out west and you can set up anywhere you want and you get 42 acres free. All you have to do is just work on the land. And
Well, you
it's
say
yours.
all. There was a little bit of work involved, wasn't it? Staking your
Yeah.
claim, building your cabin, collecting your fuel, planting your crops, tending your crops, harvesting your crops, preserving your crops. Couple of things. Couple of things.
Right.
Sleep tight. Hope the bed bugs don't bite. Amazing. So activity and action and opportunity. I think Vanderbilt, we talked about this before the recording, became
Yes.
one of the richest and iconic people in the whole of America. Started with one small skiff, one small boat, and was a ferryman across the Hudson or whatever it was. And look where he
Mhm.
ended up. And we have other I don't know, was Carnegie poor at the beginning?
Yes, I think yes, he was. And when he became very wealthy, he set up all these public libraries because he said it was through books that he learned how to become wealthy.
Which is a theme, isn't it? Is that we might even end on that theme. So, what's the manifestation of these differences and ideas? How are you seeing the sort of the Britain in comparison with that? Is there a manifestation? Is it coming out in song, dance, humour, writing, automotive quality? How is it manifest?
Well, you can see this in American humor. I mean, there is a lot that could be said. If you look at American comic heroes,
Yeah.
they are always upbeat. They always make a wisecrack, one-liners, and they will smart talk their way out of any hopeless situation. For example, Eddie Murphy in his famous Beverly Hills Cop film said, "The advice I would give to someone is not to take anyone's advice."
Nice.
Or a cartoon character, Homer Simpson, he provides his insights of a typical American family. And for instance, his ideas about the English language. English, who needs that? I'm never going to go to England. Or me fail English. That's impossible.
Very
That-
nice, very nice. Language in action. So we've got optimism, quick wit, brain as an engine of opportunity, of an engine of progression. Can we now contrast this? Matthew said in trepidation, with UK culture, British culture around maybe film or comedy. What examples have you got there?
Well, generally speaking, the British embrace the underdog.
Yeah, yeah,
Brits are more comfortable with life's losers. They don't want to celebrate anything too soon because
yeah,
failure
yeah, yeah,
and disappointment lurk around the corner.
yeah.
And this is due, I think, to historical experiences where life is viewed more as a submission to the king or queen
Yeah,
or
yeah,
the
yeah.
church.
Yeah.
And then you got the elements of class and status, which is still deeply embedded in
Yeah.
British culture, even to this day.
Yeah.
And so it's very difficult to move up the social ladder. I mean, the British do never think of themselves as being pre-rich. That doesn't exist in your mindset. So yeah, and so the British comic hero wants to play the failure, whose sense of dignity is continuously compromised by the world letting him down. They're trying to do everything proper and to do things right, but everyone around them is laughing. For instance, in the film A Fish Called Wanda, John Cleese plays the bumbling London lawyer trying to seduce Wanda, who's played by Jamie Curtis. And in one scene, he is completely naked and having absolutely no luck in his seduction attempts. And despite all this, he's trying to maintain a certain British dignity. But again, he's having no success, which makes it even more funny to the point of total embarrassment.
Yes.
He's a failure,
Yes.
a total failure. But the audiences around the world found it absolutely hilarious. And that's what makes you so attractive as people. Or take, for me, the quintessence of British mindset is Mr. Bean.
Exactly. Our finest and biggest British export. Nice.
Right. Now, there's an episode where he jumps into a swimming pool and he loses his swimming trunks. And he's very embarrassed and he has to get out of the swimming pool. And he's very shy but he remains determined and unemotional in his nakedness, trying to keep a stiff upper lip. But again, the audiences find this absolutely hilarious. You could say the British make a glory out of their failure. They celebrate it.
Very nice, very nice. So we've got this structure. We've got it all to lose. Therefore, we can't think of ourselves as having nothing and having everything to win. And there is this embarrassment which breaks the tension. So a lot of British humour is about the burst, the failure, and and of course we do it to ourselves. So we're self-deprecating, and that happens.
Yeah.
One of the core differences between, say, the US and UK, with a reference to either culture or humour or both?
Well, the American humor is usually associated with success.
Good.
Being successful. I want to give another example where they in American films they always humorous films they always show a certain cocky confidence.
Yeah.
In the film When Harry Met Sally, Meg Ryan in a coffee shop without shame fakes an orgasm in front of Bill Crystal, and she performed it so well that at the end, an elderly woman tells the waiter, "Young man, I like to have the same sandwich that she's having." That is American humor. It's always upbeat, successful. At the end.
Yes, one can't imagine Judi Dench saying the same line, or even if she did, having the same impact. And the sandwich would be smaller as well. Yeah. Patrick, always a pleasure, mate. We wish you well as a great contributor, as a commentator on our two countries separated by a common language. I know you like to quote George Bernard Shaw yourself. We'll see you soon. Viewers, thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate your loyalty. Patrick, you're a superstar. Maybe we'll have another one of these conversations and educate the world about another topic. But for now, for Patrick, from me, cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
See ya.